All right.
Cool.
Yes.
So,
We're doing it,
episode
people.
8.
Episode 8. Enemies.
Winging it.
The West Wing.
Yep. Here we are. Episode 8.
Well,
what did you think about this episode?
It was okay.
Andrea?
It's not a rewatcher for me. So I liked watching it because I hadn't rewatched it a ton. I don't think I've ever rewatched it because a lot of this felt new to me. So it was kind of enjoyable to watch it personally because I've rewatched so many other ones. But as an episode, it's just kind of like, okay,
I agree. It was good. It had some good moments, especially coming on the heels of the last one. It was good to have some winning moments, and kind of a lighter episode. But it was, it was good. It was, not a rewatcher.
Maybe it is for some people. I mean, I don't want to diminish what other people find.
Yeah. Oh, it totally might be a rewatcher for some people.
Just not me.
Which,
yeah, take that power. Take that power and watch it. There are some good moments. I liked the opening scene.
I do too. That's the first thing I wrote down, is that I love this scene between Josh and Bartlett. And I love when we get any scenes when we get any one-on-one scenes between people we don't normally, we get a lot of one-on-ones with the president and Leo, or we get a lot of one-on-ones with Josh and Donna, or Sam and Toby. But I like when they switch it up a little bit, and we get this nice little Josh and Bartlett scene. I thought that was pretty cool.
It's 1:30 in the morning, and I mean, we're just diving into the TikTok, but it's 1:30 in the morning. Oh, shoot, were we supposed to sing the... Did you want to sing? Da, da, da,
da. I always forget how it goes when it's time to actually sing it. When it's on, I have it down pat.
Sounds like cats
Something
singing.
like that.
Oh gosh. No, both of us sound like cats singing. Hey, people pay good money to hear cats sing on Broadway. I'm not one of those people.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. That's practically what it is. So
I'm glad we did that. I enjoy the theme song singing.
Great.
Personally. Just gets everybody in the mood, it just sets the tone. It's the
drum roll, I think. It it symbols into it.
Yep. Then everyone is all right, swinging it time.
Game on. Ready. So at the top of this episode, it's 1:30 in the morning, and Bartlett is talking to Josh about national parks. And Josh just outright calls him a nerd, and it's wonderful.
Yes. And Bartlett says, I should show you my slide collection. Oh, did you?
But
that was pretty great.
Why is he doing this? Question mark.
I don't know. Because he's the president. Listen, let me be honest. If I were the president, I would totally just make people sit around and listen to me all the time. Because there are a lot of things that I like to talk about that other people don't like to talk about.
Like what?
And I think I would be very Bartlett-esque. Well, like the shows I watch, or the things I'm nerdy about, books I read, just all the things that I like that other people are like, okay, Sally, stop talking.
I just think
so. I would definitely do that.
I didn't buy it. Yep. I was like, why is he doing this? It's mean.
Oh,
it's late.
No. I buy it for sure.
I mean, but the thing is, it's not like it was a matter of importance. Well, I guess it was.
No, it doesn't matter. It's important to Bartlett. Related. It reminds me a good bit of my father. That's where I get this, I think. Just being like, I mean, my dad could go on and on about, you know what you should do? You know what you should watch? Those are his favorite lines. You know what you should try? You know what you should whatever? And then we'll go on. So this was very reminiscent of my dad for me. So maybe that's why I buy it pretty easily. Pretty easily bought for me.
I mean, it's right there. But I think Bartlett, you can tell, is enjoying the fact that he's making Josh stay late. It seems like he's just doing this to bust his chops.
Oh, I think that's definitely a possibility.
Well, my question was, what's the point of living off campus? Why don't they just have places for them to live right there? I say off campus like it's a school.
I think they should. I think they definitely should.
He said he had to be back in his office in 4 hours, which would have been 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. They get there really early. But Bartlett has a throwaway line about, we should take a staff field trip to wherever it was. can't remember where they were going to go now, but one of the national parks, he wanted to take a staff field trip, and I was just like, that I would pay to see. Let's have a whole
add that to the list
episode.
of episodes.
While I'm listing things I need an episode of, a whole episode of the staff field trip would be excellent. Can you just imagine, Toby? I mean, really?
Well, I know,
it'd
it would be great. We do get to see some staff field trips, as it were, because there will be a campaign that will take them to America, the heartland of America. So
yeah,
we will get to see some of that, but not perhaps a national park.
But unfortunately, not Toby in a forest. So
I love that.
Whatever, that's fine.
I love that at the end of the episode, Josh, or I think Bartlett said, "You should really give nature a try," and Josh said, "Like I did. I have given nature a try." You know, I resonate with that. I like that there's nature. I will do the outdoorsy things. It's just I've tried nature. I don't know.
Oh man, see, I love the outdoors. If I had the money and time, I would be Bartlett for sure. I would have visited all 54 parks. That would be me if I had both money and time. Mostly money. I have to.
Well, hey, we'll see what we can do. We'll get some advertisers for this podcast, and it's all going to be.
Let's do like a Kickstarter. Yes. GoFundMe. Hashtag send Sally.
Send Sally to the parks. Okay.
Yeah. I think it's great.
Moving right along from our wish list.
Talk about the actual episode.
So Leo and his daughter Mallory are having breakfast, and it's $6.
Yeah, they paid $6.50 for a cup of coffee.
Exactly. That's
unbelievable.
Not true.
Like that's plain coffee, not even like a tasty coffee beverage.
Unless that is like Vietnamese coffee, which is actually $6.50 at the local coffee shop. But unless it's something like that, I don't think Leo would be drinking that. I don't buy it for a second.
Nope. No. $6.50 cup of coffee. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. That's not true. But it's the
point is that they're having breakfast at the hotel where he's staying because he is separated from his wife. What's the nicest hotel that you've ever been to?
Yep. Oh, shoot. I don't even know. I really couldn't even tell you. I've never stayed at anything fancy. Really. So, nothing. I have no good fancy hotel stories. What about you?
I did stay in a 5-star hotel in Las Vegas once, but yes, we did it via Priceline.com, and there were about 5 of us in the room, so it made sense. It worked out to be fairly cheap, and I was enthralled. But even at said 5-star hotel, I'm fairly confident that the coffee was not $6.50.
It just seems unreal to me. So whatever. So yeah, we have that scene with them, and it's just sort of like, I don't know if it's a purposeful thing, but I feel like I could feel more sympathy for Leo, and I really am kind of like, because he seems kind of like about the whole divorce thing. Like he's sort of like, well, this sucks, but whatever. So that's it's an interesting take on that storyline. It doesn't seem to disrupt his life too terribly much, honestly. I guess because he's
really, I don't know what they expect to do, nor do I.
That it's just not a main storyline.
But that's why he got where he is in the first place. It wasn't a major storyline to him. Whew.
Yep.
Booyah.
Yep.
Okay, and then I made a note that this is the most energetic I've seen Bartlett about anything. About passing this banking bill. He is stoked. He is buzzing.
Yep. I think, well, if we're to believe that this is on the heels somewhat of the last episode when a plethora of things went wrong, he's probably excited to have something to be excited about. He's probably just ready to have a victory for a little while. So I think that is a big part of it. But I love seeing excited Bartlett.
We don't get to see him often enough, in my opinion.
No. Well, not often enough for my enjoyment, but the job is so stressful that I think it's probably a realistic amount.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Did you watch the Obama reading meme tweets?
Yes, Jimmy? I did.
I don't know which Jimmy did it.
Those were definitely not the
Oh no, they weren't.
Not even close.
It was pretty funny. Anyway. So then John Hoynes, the VP, is in the Roosevelt room and starting this meeting with the cabinet. And then Bartlett comes in and kind of usurps his leadership and he's super upbeat, and he tells everyone, he's very casual and just a different tone. Like, the VP's trying to kind of establish himself as an authority, and he's leading it, and Bartlett comes in so nonchalant, like, oh, we just do these because politically it's mandated, and everybody sit down, you're freaking me out, So
yeah,
he basically puts the smackdown on Hoynes in front of everybody, making it a very awkward situation.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty strange, because we sort of know that they don't get along that well. From the limited interaction we've had, they're not like BFFs.
They're barely Fs.
But I did think it was strange because it's almost like Bartlett has to know that this is going to be a thing. I mean, I didn't see the point in him being so blatantly mean. I mean, I guess to assert his authority, but it seems like he could do that in another way. It sort of was like, come on, dude, this is going to be an issue. Don't create drama.
Power struggle.
Yeah, I just thought it was a little odd. I was like, well, okay. So, because it seemed like Hoynes was just trying to do his job, really. It would have been different if he had said something, and maybe this is just my lack of understanding. Maybe what he said was more controversial, not right. Something I don't know.
He did say their first priority or their first task was to find a way to get along with Congress, and I think fundamentally for a president that would be like. That would strike to the very core difference in how they approach politics, because his is really serving the American people first. But, it's like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Yeah, I agree with
that. I mean, it just felt kind of nitpicky to me, because Hoynes could have just, it's understood we're here to help the American people. Now, the first step in doing that is to get along with Congress. It just seemed a little like, it felt like immature to me, I guess. It felt beneath Bartlett.
It felt like he was showing off.
Yeah, it did. But it's good to see more of I know we need to see more of their dynamic, and we're trying to understand their relationship.
Honestly,
so
I don't enjoy any of the Hoynes stuff ever. I don't like it. I mean, I don't really either. Fine, but whatever. I did, however, like the scene with Toby and Sam trying to figure out whose writing is flat, and he said we're having difficulty finding our talent. And then he says, "It couldn't have gone far, right? Somewhere in the building is our talent."
Yes, I do love that line. I think I like when Toby is funny.
So good. And then CJ and Danny just straight out asks CJ out, and she says no. Straight, out of hat. No explanation, no nothing. Just says no.
I think she's just not sure about it. Maybe she doesn't trust his intentions. It's very sad that she says no, but Danny is pretty adorable in his persistence.
Yeah, so he's just naming all the activities that he likes doing.
Yeah, that was cute.
That was cute.
I like that a lot.
And then Hoynes... Okay, so the story gets leaked to the press that Bartlett basically put the smackdown on Hoynes during that meeting.
Which, that's really one of our main storylines. And that's sort of like, man, this is kind of... But not boring, but that's one of our big storylines, really. So you're like, okay.
The other storyline is that Mallory asked out Sam Seaborn, but
there's a lot.
But it's not on a date. And he says, "In what way does this distinguish itself from a date?" And she says, "There will be no sex. There will be no sex for you at the end of the evening." It was just really funny. And he said
it was a very cute scene, except that Sam says something about like, oh, well, other than this, I would have been going home to watch Monday Night Football. And I'm like, really? Would you? Like, do you just have time to just sit around? Like, no, dude.
But it was funny. The line was great.
Yeah.
I can just see Aaron Sorkin writing it. He said, if you hadn't come by with your offer of Chinese opera and no sex, I'd just be watching Monday Night Football. So this works out great for me.
Yeah, I like that. I like that little the whole scene. All of their dialogue is very cute. I just like Mallory a lot. I think that actress. I think she's very charming. She's very even in all of her conflict with Leo. Like, we still like her a lot, and I just like her as a character.
Cool. Okay. Then Sam and CJ are both sitting in Leo's office. They just have that moment. Like, what's your thing about? Nothing. What's your thing about? Nothing.
Yeah. We're not here together.
So funny.
They're pretty
So
cute.
Sam tells Leo that he's going out with Mallory and, to make sure that's all fine. Yep. And then they both leave the room and Leo says to himself, I'm fine. I just like when people talk to themselves. I like when we get to see that in general. It's such a human thing.
Cute. And I like seeing Leo sort of struggle with things a little more, that he's like, I'm fine. Am I fine? I don't know if I'm fine. I sort of like his whole storyline in this episode, because like I said at the beginning, he seems sort of about the whole thing. And even though this isn't directly about his divorce, it's about the fallout from it. So I like watching him sort of deal with the whole thing.
Yeah, he just has a moment to check in with himself, which I think is always a good thing to do in life.
Yeah, just remind yourself that you're fine. I'm fine.
But then, something that was not fine with me, segue, Hoynes and CJ. Okay? So, again, I don't like most of the scenes with Hoynes. And not because the actor's not good. That's not what I'm saying. I just don't like the character.
His storyline is a little... leaves a little to be desired.
He's just, like, intimidating CJ. And I said, what an insecure, power-hungry jerk. He tells her, like, you're addressing the office of the vice president. I mean, she's doing her job, and you're a jerk face, and I don't like you.
He does come on pretty strong, but I think that the vice president, just to play devil's advocate, I think the vice president is such a thankless job. I think he's really offended that she thinks he would leak. I think that would have been a very petty thing to do. So I think he is genuinely offended that they think, because he makes a point to come tell the president that later too. So I do think there could be a little more mutual respect there, though. But maybe there is a reason.
Like, if he had been an angel, they wouldn't have to worry about the possibility that it could have been him that leaked it. You know what I'm saying? It's just from the onset. Yeah. He's never had a positive interaction with her. And in fact, in the whole series, I don't know if he does.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe.
I don't know. So anyway, CJ in the press briefing, Danny's trying to get CJ to go out with him some more. And I wrote down, there seems to be a lot more scenes than other shows, or a lot of short scenes. And I don't know. You watch more TV than I do. I don't really keep up as much, but it seemed like there's just a lot of different short scenes in this one in particular.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think there were. I think that's a fair assessment. I also think we said in this, right after the CJ and Hoynes thing, in one of the quick scenes, we'd say Eaton and Broderick over and over and over because I don't even know if we've talked about this storyline yet.
Right.
The Eaton and Broderick thing. The bank bill that they're trying to pass that Bartlett was so excited about in the beginning now has a new
amendment.
I don't know, it's not an amendment.
I don't know.
Is it? They call it something else. But something is on it that Eaton and Broderick want to turn Big Sky into something. Like how educated I am.
No, I was kind of lost on it too. I knew that something had compromised the bill and some sort of national forest or park or something. They basically had to choose between the environmental lobbyists, being held hostage by the environmental lobbyists, or the bankers, and they're really trying to pass this banking bill. So they're...
Well, the thing is, see, because most of them don't even care about the environmental lobbyists. It's just that that they slapped this on at the very end just to sort of stick it to the president. And that's what they really don't. That's what they really want to avoid. They want to be able to,
it's just timeless.
They really want to pass what they want to pass instead of, they're sort of okay with it. They're just annoyed that they're trying to
so they're trying to figure out the different ways to respond to it. So, and Sam and Josh have kind of a heated thing in the Oval Office where they just have two different ways of approaching it, but they kind of throw some elbows about what to do.
Yeah, I sort of like that though. To update our listeners, they're trying to attach a rider about land use that would allow strip mining in Big Sky in Montana. So that's the correct terminology.
There's so much knowledge.
Yep. Oh yeah. The internets. So yeah, but in that one scene they're talking about it and they're just like, Eaton and Broderick? Eaton and Broderick? They literally say it 15 times in that scene. And it's just like, oh really? We're just going to keep saying this
I wish it had been Matthew Broderick as one of the Brodericks in reference. That man gets around. He can do a lot of things.
Maybe it was, you know?
Maybe it was.
I don't know.
So then Bartlett has a scene where he's consoling Leo about his divorce. And it was nice. Yeah. It was a nice kind of like they're buddies.
It was nice. I do like, yeah, exactly. I was going to say, I like when we just get to see more and more of Leo and Bartlett. I always like their scenes together because I just like their friendship and their, I feel like I say dynamic a lot, but I do. I like that they're buds. I mean, they're just, you know, they go way back. And so I like to see these moments of them bonding.
And it pays off well because they do work so closely together, and because it's a very complicated relationship that they have. It's not complicated, but it is, because
it is. Well, it's complicated when you work with anybody and when you have to agree and disagree sometimes, especially over such huge things.
To be friends with your boss.
So it does complicate it.
I mean, yeah, that's just a weird dynamic to navigate, and it gets very interesting in some other seasons. I'm just saying. I'm not going to say what happens, but oh man, it's there's some stuff that happens.
I wonder.
And then I noted halfway through the episode, this is the first time we're seeing Mandy. Hooray!
Yeah, bye Mandy. But I do like Mandy tells Josh that, you know, when he gets all competitive and whatever, he juices up the president, and he knows he does this. And Josh has a very cute little smirk.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
He's just like, maybe, I don't know. So that was a cute, just Josh being Josh.
And I realized that it's not about the actress that we don't like her necessarily. It's just that her character is just kind of naggy. We don't have enough moments that are likable about her. All we kind of get is this like never-ending crusade. It's like a one-note crusade. And I don't necessarily think it's the acting. I think it's just kind of how it's written. So,
right. No, I completely agree, because I can't think of anybody that would have made me like this character after the way the first few episodes are written. And it's doubly troubling because we're expected to believe that Josh dated this woman and like loved this woman. Well, so if we love Josh as a character, it's hard to like reconcile. She just needs to be really likable.
Yeah, I don't know. Josh doesn't have good taste in women sometimes.
That does come into play again, but it does. I think later in the season, there's another female love interest that I really strongly dislike.
Oh, I can't wait for this.
And I think it does have to do too. Although that one has a little to do with the actress, but we'll get there.
I like her.
But I think it does have to do with that we love Josh so much that like we have high standards for who he should be with.
Yeah, it's true.
So, but I think it's the same about anybody. We would feel the same way about Sam and Toby, and you know, Mallory is so pleasant with Sam, and so is Lori, and Mandy is just not. She's not pleasant. They don't have good chemistry.
Yeah, that's why they broke up.
It's just very a bad situation. So
emotionally, but I think Josh is such an emotionally adolescent character, and even Bradley Whitford has said this as well, that he is. That I think he wants and needs a strong woman to push him around. It's like he doesn't know how to lead in a relationship. I mean, just diving in deep.
That, totally. And he would just be bored, I think. He needs that sort of combative entertainment, I guess. Yeah. Yes. I agree. I have this written down, but I can't remember its context, but Toby says something. Toby says, I have hatred in my heart. I can't remember what that's in reference to.
He's talking to Mandy, and she goes to him and you know, about this whole whatever they're talking about. And he says, I have hatred in my heart. And she says, for who? He said, you go ahead and pick them. Today it's like these two guys that are attaching the, whatever it's called, to the whatever else.
Eden and Broderick.
Those two guys. I have hatred in my heart. You go ahead and pick them. Today it's these people. I love that it shows that there's an ongoing hatred, just an undercurrent of hatred in his heart.
Yeah.
Also, not to skip over, Charlie and Leo. Leo assigns a letter, or he assigns a birthday message to be written by Sam the night that he's supposed to go to the opera with his daughter. Boo! Come on.
Yeah, I was kind of about this whole storyline. It just seemed sort of like juvenile, not juvenile. It didn't seem like something that would be on The West Wing.
It was very reactive.
It sort of seemed, sitcom-y to me. You know, like that's something that would happen on like Three's Company or something. You know, I don't know, like something sort of just a silly like, oh, I'm gonna sign this project now. You can't go, ha ha ha. Like I don't know.
It's very
it was
Cinderella.
Just a little strange, and that Sam would sort of fall for that. You know that Sam wouldn't be like, no, somebody else can do this. I have to go. Like Sam sort of seen through that.
Yeah, he could have just gone to Leo and cleared the air. But I'm actually kind of confused at why they did it. But we'll I don't know.
At why they had this storyline?
Yeah, and why they assigned it to him. Because at first I thought it was because Leo wanted Sam to not be able to go. So he was trying to, like put the kibosh on that. And that made sense to me. But then it seemed more like, well, maybe that was Leo's intent. But Bartlett was in on it, right? So Bartlett says, hey, that was a great first draft. Yeah. Go back and do it again. So Bartlett was aware that was happening. And then when Mallory comes back,
yes,
and she's kind of figured out that like this is intentional, Bartlett uses it as like an object lesson to say, well, sometimes in the West Wing you don't have control over your personal life and things happen, and that's the job. And earlier in the episode he talks about how Mallory doesn't see that he doesn't see what Leo does as a job, in the way that played into the demise of his marriage. So Bartlett is using it as a way to defend Leo to his daughter. But I guess Leo's using it because he was just pissed at Sam. So they just had two different intents.
I think Bartlett probably just saw an opportunity. I think Bartlett was going along with it, and then he just saw the opportunity to have it be a teachable thing, and just went with it. I think it was more of an opportunistic.
I guess I was just confused over the intention of why everybody was doing this so clearly, blatantly, like just not relevant thing at all. But
yeah, it was totally not relevant. I was sort of like, I could have done without that whole storyline. I mean, well, and I love Sam and Mallory, so I liked that storyline. But like I said, it just seemed like a joke to me.
But I did,
I did
like the fact that Sam was really trying to do a better second draft. When Bartlett says, really put your quill to this. Really put your quill to this, Sally. Just really go back and...
Yeah. Well, I think they sort of exploited Sam. They knew Sam would react to that, So...
But then Toby, at the end, Toby's in on it too. Like, they're looking for their talent still, and they're both trying to shine up this birthday message. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
In an otherwise okay episode.
It was really funny. Yeah, because they were trying to find their talent. Yeah, I thought that turned out pretty well. But
and then Mallory says, "You're just like him," when she's referring to Leo, and Sam says, "That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me," or "the nicest thing you've ever said to me." And I thought that was just a beautiful use of subtext. Way to go, Sorkin. You're just the man.
It was cute. It was a little awkward for like a second, because the whole idea of like loving your dad is like, I always find that kind of, I mean, girls definitely go for guys who are like their dads, but it's a little, this is weird. And Leo's face in the whole scene is really cute.
Complex there.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was cute, but like with a smidge of awkward for me.
Yep. And then the VP comes to see Bartlett.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yes. And this, I guess, man, I feel like I'm just ragging on this episode again, and I really did, like, I enjoyed the episode fine, but this storyline too, where Bartlett, it just seems petty of Bartlett to be like, and things are a bigger deal in politics than maybe I realized, but he says that
I don't understand that. Beg. In what way? Okay. And where?
Well, that, like, to be the vice president, I assume, is what they're talking about. That, like, if you get offered the vice presidency, you should just accept and be the vice president, you know? And not have to make him, like, work for it and be whatever. And especially when he knew that's what would be best for the party. I mean, we get a little bit of a better glimpse of this later in the season, in the series. But I think it makes Bartlett seem petty to just, I hate you because of this little thing that happened. And we don't get any resolution really from this scene. So the scene is kind of strange to me. But I guess we're building this plot of he and Hoynes. So.
Yeah. It's all right. It's fine. I feel like the less we see of Mandy and the less we see of Hoynes, the happier I get, and there's a direct correlation.
Yeah, I second that. Which leads us to the happier scene where Josh figures out the solution to this bank bill and gets the best look on his face ever. Oh. So I just thought I did like that storyline. I did like that they brought the whole Parks thing back around and it just fit really well. I just really enjoyed
and then Bartlett's like sitting there boring Charlie as well. And I just loved, it's not one of my favorite episodes, but structurally it's so well written. It's really funny. Like it has discovery and it's got repetition and it's well structured. So I like that.
I agree.
Was there anything else that was noteworthy for you?
Well, I guess I think so. I think it was
the last line where we get the title of the episode. Josh goes to the president after they've figured out how they're going to fix this thing, and also Josh has a good line to the president. I'm sure someone with your encyclopedic knowledge of the ridiculous and dork-like will be able to find a tree or a ferret that the public has a right to visit. Which was good. But then Josh walks outside and calls back the president as he's walking home, and he says, "Mr. President, we talk about enemies more than we used to." Like, where does that all point? I guess is what I'm asking, because that's the title of the episode.
Yeah, I know. I have the same question. Because when we started and we said, the title of this is enemies or whatever, I sort of was thinking to myself, but I don't really know why. I mean, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure. I thought it was kind of out of the blue, and maybe this means that we just missed the point of the whole episode. But it was just strange. I mean, maybe they're talking about the John Hoynes thing, but because that's all I can. And I guess they're talking about Eaton and Broderick, but it didn't feel like they spent so much time talking about their enemy. It seemed out of the blue to me. It seemed like there were other episodes where that would be a lot more prevalent.
That's what I felt as well. But maybe they're just setting up future episodes. That could very well be the case.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It was strange for the whole episode to be titled Enemies, because even the Eaton and Broderick, like the Bill storyline, just didn't feel like that prominent of a storyline. So.
Well, okay. At least it wasn't just me. I was trying to figure out. I mean.
Nope. It was not
in the same boat. So if you had to pick an MVP for this one.
I'm gonna pick Josh.
Okay, let's go with Josh. I like that.
I know that he'll have lots of MVP opportunities, but I thought this was a good one where he, the Antiquities Act, he came up with the whole thing. He was listening to the Bartlett talk about the whatever. He just had good moments in this episode that I liked.
Yes. Point for Josh.
So, Josh. Yay! Yes, go Josh.
That's always good.
And plenty of more points to come.
Oh, show enough is, girl. Show enough. Cool.
So,
all right, that's episode 8. Right. Enemies.
Yep.
And do we know what's coming up next?
Episode 9. I like that humor there. Episode 9.
The short list.
The short list, is that what it is?
That's the name of the episode. Yeah.
All right, cool.
We'll meet you guys there. Wingin' it. Episode 8 in the can.
See ya.